What's good, y'all? It's your boy Retro, and I'm back with another video. Yes, I know it's been a while. Since I done a game review, let alone post a full-blown commentary YouTube video, and I didn't plan on doing this anytime soon, considering the fact that, bro, I have been so busy and so hyper fixated on so many other things that I cannot sleep until I get done. Like for this exact video, I could not sleep without the thought of me completing this video, because I kept telling y'all that I was gonna complete this video, but my everything in life happened so fast for me. Like obviously some of y'all know that I have a job now. I'm in school. That's getting as hard as it's getting right now. My motivation isn't really there for uploading, and you know, it's kind of an off and on conflicted type of thing, but we're still going to be on our grind. It's not really something that we can just, you know, stop doing because of this, and it's just not going to be that way. YouTube, I will always be here. I'm never going to leave you guys. I love you guys. I will never leave. And I don't want y'all in y'all's heads to think that, oh, this nigga got a job, he bossing up, you know, he's doing, fuck that. You know, I'm still here, I'm still present. So yeah, let's get into this game review. So the game that we're gonna be talking about today is Red Dead Redemption 1. Now, this game, it blew me away, because I'm not really typically into like the Western style type games with, it has that type of action adventure, but this game blew me away about like the character development and just like how important everybody is, and the storyline. It blew me away with everything, because at first I really did not care too much about this game, but it is kind of an action adventure type game if I'm not mistaken, and you know, it's a lot of outside the box thinking when it comes to the writing. So I would say that this game, it's almost perfect, to say the least. So to sum the story down, there's this character who's the main character. His name is John Marston. He is a former criminal. You know, he robbed banks with this gang where, you know, they just did a lot of criminal fucked up activities. They robbed, they did horrible things to people, they killed people. Like, they did things that you would normally hear about today with people just doing reprehensible things to people these days when they're in gangs. But he's finding some change of heart, considering he wants to hunt down his former gang members in Escuela, which is one of the names. And then he has other people that he wants to hunt down that I can't think of on top of my head. I will edit it in to tell y'all who the names are. But at the same time, bro, like, the only reason that he's trying to hunt down his former gang members and bring them to justice is because this government made a deal with him that if you hunt down these people who you used to run with, or kill them dead or alive, then indeed your family can be free, because they captured his family, and if they don't do it, you know, they'll like kill his family and whatnot. But y'all get what I'm trying to say. Now, once I got the gist of what this story was about, I was instantly hooked, because I'm a very picky gamer, and you know, if your storyline doesn't captivate me, if it's not something that I've never heard before, then I'm not going to play the game. Like, that's just kind of how I feel. It's how I've always felt. I don't know how everybody else feels. I'm gonna start playing a lot more story mode games, but it has to captivate me with the originality, because, well, not even necessarily originality. It just has to be like, you can do something that somebody else has done before, but you have to add your own sauce to it, if you understand what I'm saying. Like, because that's where originality really stems from. It stems from creativity. Well, not creativity. It comes from inspiration from another person's creativity or originality. So that alone just makes the best game ever. Now, the graphics on this game, PC, PS5, PS4, it's not really the best. It is kind of like a it's kind of like an old Western type vibe. It isn't as good as the second game, which, if you guys want that video, I will give a game review about that next. overall, the graphics weren't there at the start, but once you start getting used to it, and then you see the PS5 aspect and how they try their best to, get the quality up there, and seeing the different versions of that, it does become indeed like some of the best stuff that you've ever seen. Especially, with the aspect of just like how fast the frame rate is, and all this extra stuff. Like, I'm not even gonna get into the gory details about that, but overall, it is a very amazing experience. You're not gonna regret it. You're not gonna want to put the controller down, and you're just, to say the least, it's not a game that you could just pass by. Like, you will not sleep if you don't play it. If you don't play at least like 10 minutes of this game. So that's really all I can say about that aspect of it. And let me tell y'all what I really hated. I hated the ending, bro. Like, which, if y'all don't want to hear the spoiler of what the ending is about this game, then you don't really have to watch this video. And yeah, you don't have to watch the video. Click off the video and then just like go to the gameplay and watch it. But the main character, John Marston, he did indeed die, because after he captured his friends and stuff like that, he overall just like, obviously he lived a regular life with his family, helped his family out, and he was a present father and husband. The government ended up tracking him down and trying to kill him and his family. And overall, like, John Marston, he did indeed try to protect his family, and then they ended up killing him, which was kind of sad. And the reason why they killed him was because, he was an outlaw who hunted people dead or alive, and he killed a lot of people. And the U.S. government indeed wanted to just wipe out the history of America with outlaws, people killing people dead or alive, and stuff like that. Like, I'm not gonna get into the gory details about it, but to break it down in a short summary, like, John Marston, it's kind of like karma catching up to him, because like, karma is indeed a bitch, and it's just like, that was a good reason. And on top of that, the people who were like threatening John Marston, getting him to kill like his old friends, they really didn't like him that much. And that aspect was just enough to like give him the excuse that they're just gonna kill him anyway. Now, the only reason that I even know that is because I had to look it up on Google, because they didn't give a specific explanation in the game as to why they killed him. But I do what I can do. You can look it up yourself. But what really stood out to me was when John Marston went to Mexico. And when he went to Mexico, it was a very compelling experience, considering there was the Mexican military and there was the revolutionaries, and they were going to war. And now, let me explain it this way. So John Marston is only there for one reason and one reason only, and that's to hunt down the two people that he needs to hunt down. So he already discloses with both of the revolutionaries and the Mexican army, military, whatever. He says to them that I am not on any side. I just want the information that you promised me about these two people. And overall, they did end up promising him to do it. So yeah, John Marston, the Mexican army ended up finding out that he was siding with the revolutionaries, and then the Mexican army, which was a very corrupt army that was kind of just hunting people down, haunting women, raping women, I guess, and just doing all this, deplorable stuff to women. So they're a very corrupt army. They ended up finding out that John Marston was playing both sides, and they ended up, trying to kill him. And then the revolutionaries saved him, and that they went from there. Now, he sides with the revolutionaries because he really has no other choice, and then he ends up finally getting to kill the people who he's been looking for such a long time. And it was a long ride. He made some friends that died. He was friends with this girl, who also died. this guy who was an absolute just fucking shithead, who like he just cares so much about women and fucking women. He didn't die, but he ended up leading the revolutionaries to a win versus the Mexican army, and John Marston also ended up killing the guy who tried to kill him, who was the leader of the Mexican army. So yeah, that ended up happening, and ultimately he finished his job in Mexico and then went to go find the other person, killed him, and then like I said, the ending and stuff like that happened. And well, that wasn't necessarily all what the ending was, because you see, after John Marston was killed, his kid and his wife ended up coming back and seeing him, and obviously he was dead. And then a few years go by. Jack Marston, who is John Marston's son, ended up growing up. His mother ended up dying eventually from old age, I guess, and he ends up hunting down one of the men who was a part of the killing of John Marston, and they had this duel battle, which is like a feature they have in the game and stuff like that, where it's like a duel. It's Western type shit. I'm sure y'all will understand. And then he finally ends up killing, the guy who killed his father. And it's funny how this game is called Red Dead Redemption, because there was no redemption. Because all this game really did prove, I'm not saying this was a good game. Let me not use that. This game really does prove that karma is indeed real. Now, John Marston may have had a change of heart with the things that he did in the past, but karma will always catch up to you. It's a real thing. I feel like a lot of y'all have to believe in karma, because it is indeed a real thing. His past caught up to him. There was no redemption at all for this whole story, considering he just couldn't run away from his past, and he ended up paying for it. So yeah, I guess it is what it is. But yeah, bro, this game was pretty awesome. I liked all the features. I liked the guns. I like the storylines. I like the horses. I like the graphics. I like how this game constantly works you through different emotions of feeling sad, but at the same time just hating John Marston as the character, as the person, and just feeling bad for the people who he kind of let down, in a sense. Now, I know this isn't kind of the best game review ever, but I try my best to break it down, because I don't want to give y'all long-winded explanations to what these games were and just how they were kind of handled, because I'm just not that type of YouTuber. I just give my reviews, give what I think, and just give y'all a explanation as to why I think the game and why I rate the game the way I rate it. But overall, I will give this game an 8.5 out of 10. Considering, remind y'all, this isn't my cup of tea when it comes to story mode games or games in general, realistically. The game, I loved the storyline, I loved the characters, I loved, everything almost about it. But at the same time, it's just at first hand, in the beginning of the game, it was just about John Marston helping out this young, well, I wouldn't say young, I don't know how old she is. Her name is McFarland, Miss McFarland. And, the game just had no immediate action. It was just about him helping her and learning about how to, do stuff with horses and stuff like that. But yeah, real Western stuff, by the way. But yeah, it just wasn't necessarily my type of game, but everything else I loved. Everything else I loved in terms of guns and the characters, everything else. But yeah, that's my overall rating of the game. I know some of y'all have been waiting for this for a long time. I know I tried my best. I'm pretty burnt out from a lot of work that I've done over the past few days. But trust me, I will continue on. I'm never gonna leave you guys. I'm never gonna forget about you guys. This is the best version of me that you will get in terms of just gaming content, because I'm gonna be burnt out for the next few days making content. So yeah, I love you guys. I appreciate anybody who watch this however long video. This YouTube stuff, I really do love it, and I want to continue to, manifest my future with it and see if I can, probably hit 1,000 subscribers. We are also on the road to 200 subscribers, so make sure that y'all like, comment, subscribe if you haven't already. And yeah, bro, I love y'all. I will never forget about y'all. And yeah, bro, I will be seeing you guys real soon. Peace.